What happens when a royal sits down for what should be a routine interview, and everything unravels in real time? Today we're breaking down the moment Prince Harry stepped onto the View, only to find himself at the center of a storm he never saw coming. What started as a press stop to promote his book quickly spiraled into something far more volatile. A high-stakes confrontation where reputations were challenged, truths were questioned, and royal decorum was left behind. From the moment Harry walked on set, the tension was unmistakable. The applause had barely faded when Joy Behar leaned in with that trademark glint in her eye. "So, Harry," she began, "let's talk about your new book. You've been rather candid about your family. Some might say brutally honest." Harry shifted. His jaw tightened. "Honesty matters, Joy," he replied, carefully measured, "especially if it means breaking cycles of trauma and dysfunction." Sunny Hostin raised an eyebrow. Trauma and dysfunction? Those are strong words for the royal family, the same family millions admire around the world. Respect built. On what exactly? Harry's tone edged sharper. Tradition? Titles? Or the idea that some people are just born better? The room shifted. The energy crackled. Even the audience quieted, sensing something bigger than a book promo was happening. Whoopi Goldberg tried to smooth the moment over. "I think what Sunny meant is, your family's long been a symbol of stability, especially in hard times." Harry gave a hollow laugh. "Stability? You mean like covering up scandals? Prioritizing the institution while the individuals inside it get chewed up and spit out?" Sarah Haynes stepped in, calm but firm. "But every family has issues. What makes yours different?" "What makes it different?" Harry's voice rose. "Most families don't have tabloids stalking their children. Most families don't leak lies to the press to cover for other members. And most families don't watch history repeat itself while staying silent." Joy didn't flinch. "But Harry, you're here. You're doing interviews, writing books. Isn't that choosing to engage with the very machine you criticize?" His eyes flashed. "You think I chose this? You think I chose to watch my mother die in front of the whole world? You think I chose to watch my wife be vilified because of the color of her skin, while my family said nothing?" Sunny cut in, voice sharp. "Are you accusing your family of racism?" "I'm saying," Harry answered, dangerously quiet, "that when someone you love is being targeted, and the attacks have obvious racial undertones, and your family says nothing, that speaks volumes." Whoopi tried again. "Harry, we want to keep this productive." "Productive?" His voice cracked like thunder. "Let's talk about Andrew. Let's talk about how he got more protection than my wife. Let's talk about the smears, the leaks, the briefings to the press from inside the palace." Sarah's voice was cautious. "Those are serious accusations. Do you have proof?" Harry's face reddened. "Private conversations I had with my father showed up word for word in tabloids. Security details, our safety, leaked. You want proof? Look at the headlines." Joy came back, unflinching. "But in your book, you shared private conversations too. Isn't that the same?" Harry stood. His chair skidded back. "The same? I told my truth to protect my family. They leaked stories to destroy us, to protect the crown. That's not the same." The hosts exchanged wary glances. This was spiraling, but Joy pressed on. "Your truth, Harry. But what about their truth? Your brothers? Your fathers?" Harry's voice trembled with fury. "Their truth is silence. Their truth is never complain, never explain, while they leak and spin behind closed doors. Their truth is throwing me under the bus to protect a crumbling institution." Sonny asked pointedly. So you're saying you have no part in any of this? That it's all their fault? Harry turned to her, face etched with emotion. I take responsibility for choosing love over duty, for protecting my family, for walking away from a system that nearly destroyed us. I own that. Sarah's voice softened. But what about the cost? Your children not knowing their grandfather. Their cousins? For a brief second, Harry's anger broke. His face crumpled, grief breaking through. But then, it hardened again. At the cost of my wife's mental health, at the cost of my children's safety, at the cost of watching history repeat itself? Yes, I'll pay that price. Every single day. Silence. Utter silence. The audience didn't move. Even the cameras seemed to hesitate. This wasn't just an interview. This was a reckoning. Do we continue or cut to commercial? Whoopi's voice was soft, but firm. Harry, maybe we should all take a breath. A breath? Harry repeated, incredulous. You invite me on. You fire off these questions, push and prod from every angle. And now you want to take a breath? His voice trembled with disbelief. This right here is exactly what I'm talking about. The gaslighting, the manipulation, the very thing that drove us away. Gaslighting? Joy snapped, her tone cutting through the tension. Harry, we're asking questions, legitimate questions, based on your own public statements. That's not gaslighting. That's journalism. Journalism? Harry laughed bitterly. Is that what you call it now? Twisting every word I say? Painting me as some ungrateful traitor? Defending a monarchy that never once defended me or my family? This isn't journalism. It's a hit job in daytime TV. Packaging! The studio air crackled. Harry was now standing, fists clenched at his sides, his voice loud enough to make audience members visibly shift in their seats. The hosts exchanged glances, concerned, frustrated, and for a few, quietly, alarmed. Harry, Sarah said gently, no one here is trying to attack you. We're just trying to understand where you're coming from. Understand? Harry whirled toward her, his expression lit with pain. You want to understand? Here's my reality. I watched my mother die because of the press. I watched my wife be relentlessly tormented by the same press. And I watched my family stand by, arms folded while it happened. And now you expect me to sit here, smile politely, and pretend like it didn't break me? Harry! Sonny's voice rose, her posture mirroring his tension. You're not the only one who's been hurt. Your family has suffered too. Your brother, your father. This isn't just about you. No, Harry said, nearly shouting. It's not just about me. It's about my wife being driven to suicidal thoughts. It's about my children growing up with a target on their backs. It's about a system so desperate to protect itself that it was willing to destroy us to do it. And what about their sacrifices? Joy cut in. What about your grandmother, her entire life devoted to service? What about your father, your brother? Doesn't that count for something? Harry froze, then slowly turned to her, his voice low and full of fire. Service? You call that service? Service to who? The people, or the institution? Because I saw that institution sacrifice its own to protect its image. My grandmother may have lived for duty, but that duty cost her children's happiness. It cost my wife her sanity. It nearly cost me everything. A stunned silence followed. Even the crew seemed to stop breathing. Something had shifted, irrevocably. Whoopi was the first to speak, and this time her voice carried steel beneath its softness. Harry, I need you to think carefully about what you just said. You're talking about your grandmother, A woman beloved around the world. Beloved? Harry echoed, voice laced with irony. Yes, she was beloved. You know why? Because she never let anyone see the cracks. Because she never showed emotion. Because she never dared to admit that the system was broken. She just smiled and waved and let the family fall apart behind palace walls. Joy leaned forward, her gaze sharp. That's incredibly disrespectful, Harry. Say what you will about the institution, but your grandmother earned respect. She gave her life to the crown. Respect? Harry's voice rose again. She earned respect by never questioning the very system that destroyed her own uncle, failed her children, and ultimately killed my mother. That's not respect. That's complicity. Sarah's tone shifted, all diplomacy gone. You're talking about a woman who led a nation through war, recession, social unrest. Stability for who? Harry shot back. For people who believed in fairy tales? What about those crushed under the weight of that image? What about the ones whose lives were ruined so that the monarchy could stay polished and pristine? Sonny stood now, eyes blazing. Are you saying your grandmother was responsible for your mother's death? Because that's what it sounds like. I'm saying, Harry growled, his voice low and dangerous, when you build a system where human beings are expendable, where image matters more than life, then yes, that system shares responsibility. The silence was suffocating. Audience members looked stunned. A few exchanged glances of disbelief. No one clapped. No one moved. Joy, her voice now cautious, spoke slowly. Harry, I think you need to step back and listen to yourself. These are serious accusations. Accusations! Harry echoed, his voice cracking. These are facts. My mother told me herself how isolated she felt, how trapped, how the family closed ranks when she tried to speak up. They weaponized the press, against her, turned her into the enemy. But Diana also had her own struggles, Sarah interjected gently. Challenges that went beyond just the royal family. Harry's face went pale with fury. Don't you dare! Don't you dare blame her. She was 19, a child, thrown to the wolves with no guidance, no support, no protection. And the same thing nearly happened to my wife. He took a breath, chest heaving. I won't let you rewrite history. Not again. Not while I'm still standing. Whoopee, firm, controlled. You need to calm down. Harry, whirling to face her, voice rising. Calm down? You want me to calm down while you sit there and defend the people who destroyed my mother? While you make excuses for a system that chews people up and spits them out? Joy, sharply. We're not defending anyone. We're trying to have a rational conversation. You're the one making that impossible. Harry, laughing bitterly. You want rational? Fine. Here's rationale. My wife, a smart, accomplished, independent woman, was driven to thoughts of suicide because of a hostile press, because of silence from my family. That's rational enough for you? Sonny, cold cutting. And what about the support you received? The privilege you enjoyed your entire life because of that same institution? Harry, voice shaking with fury. Privilege? You call it privilege to have every moment of your life dissected? To watch your mother die because of paparazzi? To have your wife degraded in the press while your own family says nothing? Sarah, pressing. But you still benefited from it. You had palaces, security, opportunities most people never even dream of. Harry, exploding. And I walked away from all of it. I gave it all up to protect my family. And you know what? It was the best decision I've ever made. Joy, voice like a blade. Did you, though? Because here you are, still talking about it, still cashing in, still using your royal name to sell your story. The accusation hit like a slap. Harry's face twisted. Shock, hurt, then rage. "Harry!" Voice barely controlled. "How dare you! How dare you suggest I'm profiting off my trauma? Off my pain? Sonny?" Challenging. "But aren't you? The book deals, the interviews, the Netflix special. You say you want privacy, yet you've been anything but private." "Harry," roaring. "I'm telling my truth. I'm defending my family. I'm making sure what happened to my mother, what happened to my wife, doesn't happen to anyone else." Joy, firing back. "By trashing your family? By airing your dirty laundry for the whole world to see?" Harry, pacing now, gesturing wildly. "By breaking the damn cycle. By refusing to play along, smile and wave while people I love are destroyed." Sarah, firmly. "And what about the people you're hurting? Your brother? Your father? Your cousins who now have to answer for your words?" Harry, incredulous. "What about the fact they could have spoken up, could have supported us? But instead they chose the institution over their own family." Whoopee stood now. Her voice boomed with seasoned authority. Whoopee, "Harry, take your seat. Lower your voice." Harry, spinning toward her. "Don't tell me to sit down. Don't tell me to be quiet. I'm not a child, and I will not be managed." Whoopee, stern. "You're being disrespectful. To us, to this audience, and to yourself." Harry, voice rising to a dangerous pitch. "Disrespectful? You ambush me with questions, twist my words, then defend the very people who let my wife suffer in silence. You want to talk about disrespect? Joy. Angry now. Nobody ambushed you. These are questions the public wants answers to. Questions your own statements raised." Harry, mocking. "Public statements? You mean the truth? You mean the facts about what goes on behind palace walls? You mean the reality of that gilded cage?" Sonny, cold. "Your version of reality. Your side of the story." Harry, venomous. "You want their side? Here's their side. Silence, denial, gaslighting, protecting abusers while abandoning victims. That's their story." The air in the studio was electric now. Every host was on their feet. The audience had gone dead quiet. Sarah, desperate to restore order. "Harry, we need to de-escalate. This conversation is—" "Harry!" Laughing, almost manic. "Too heated. You haven't seen heated yet. You want to know what happened when I told my father we were leaving? What my brother said to my wife the last time they spoke?" Whoopee, warning. "Harry, don't! Whatever you're about to say, don't!" But it was too late. "Harry," voice dropping to a whisper, more dangerous than his shouting. "You know what my father said when I told him about the racist attacks in the press? He said that's just how the press works. He said she needs to grow thicker skin. He said if she can't handle the pressure, maybe she's not cut out for this life." Silence. Pure suffocating silence. Harry stood there, trembling, like a man who had just detonated something and realized he couldn't undo it. The host stared, stunned. It was Joy who found her voice first. Joy. "Harry, you can't reveal private conversations on national television." Harry, eerily calm now. "Why not? He had no problem leaking stories about me to the press. Turnabout is fair play. Whoopee." Reaching for her phone. "That's it. I'm calling security." Harry, laughing bitterly. "What now? Going to have me dragged off stage? That'll make quite the headline." Whoopee, "If that's what it takes." Sarah, pleading. "Harry, stop. You're destroying yourself. This isn't the way. Harry, turning to her, wild-eyed. Destroying myself? No. I'm finally telling the truth. For the first time in my life, I'm saying exactly what I think. I'm done protecting people who never protected me. Sonny. Quiet, sharp. You're burning every bridge you have left. You're making enemies of people who could be allies. Harry. Voice cracking, raw. Allies? You're not my allies? You invited me here to trap me. And now that I won't play along, you call it a meltdown? Joy, we gave you a platform, and you used it to lose control on national television. Harry, pacing, unraveling. No, you wanted me to be the polite victim. Say my piece. Smile for the cameras, cry a little. You wanted pain, but not rage. Well, here it is. My pain is messy, it's raw, and it's loud. Harry snapped. That doesn't give you the right to tear others down. Sarah shot back. We all have trauma. Harry spun to face her, his voice like fire. Trauma? Try being 12, years old, walking behind your mother's coffin while the entire world stares. Try watching photographers hound your wife until she's in tears. Try seeing the people who are supposed to love you choose a cold institution over your sanity. Harry, stop, Whoopi said, her tone rising. You're unraveling on live television. This isn't a breakdown, Harry said with a wild, almost manic laugh. This is a breakthrough. This is me finally standing up. Standing up by attacking the people trying to help? Sonny demanded. Help? Harry's voice cracked. You call this help? You've tried to paint me as unstable, discredit everything I've said, make me the villain in my own life. Because you're acting unstable, Joy shouted. Look at yourself. This isn't normal behavior. Normal? Harry stared at her. Nothing about my life has ever been normal. Every move I make gets picked apart by people like you. People like us. Whoopi's voice had turned cold. People who profit off other people's pain. Harry whispered. People who pretend to care while chasing the next headline. That's enough, Whoopi snapped. Security. Get someone on set now. You're making a mistake, Harry said, voice suddenly icy. You think you can shut me up and throw me out? You have no idea who you're dealing with. Is that a threat? Sarah asked. No, Harry replied with a chilling calm. It's a promise. I have recordings, documents, proof that would blow your mind. What kind of recordings? Joy asked, her voice uncertain. The kind that reveal what's really said behind closed doors, Harry said, eyes gleaming. The kind that show what my family really thinks about the public, about the press, about the people who worship them. You're bluffing, Sonny said, but her voice lacked conviction. Am I? Harry pulled out his phone. Want to hear the recording where my father mocks the public as gullible sheep? Or the one where my brother names the journalists? Willing to sell lies for a check? The studio went still. Not a whisper from the audience. Every host stared at Harry in stunned silence. You wouldn't dare, Whoopi said quietly. Wouldn't I? Harry held the phone up, trembling. I've already lost everything. My family, my country, my place in the world. What do I have left to lose? Security entered, 2 tall men in suits approaching steadily. Harry's expression shifted, ice to panic. You're unleashing something you can't control, he warned, backing away. Harry, Sarah said gently, just walk away. Don't make this worse. Worse? He laughed darkly. This is nothing. You think this interview was explosive? Wait until you see what I do next." The guards flanked him now. Close, but not yet touching. Harry glanced around the studio one last time, wild-eyed. "You think you know the truth?" he shouted. "You know nothing. You don't know about the deals, the cover-ups, the things they've done to protect their image. Ask them about Andrew. Get him out of here," Whoopi said, her voice shaking. "Ask them what they knew and when. Ask them about the hush money, the threats, the night Diana died." "Harry, stop!" Joy yelled, but it was too late. The guards were ushering him toward the exit, his voice echoing behind him. "You think this is over?" he called back. "It's just beginning. The truth is coming, and none of you can stop it." Then, silence. Heavy, total silence. The hosts remained frozen, staring at the empty space where Harry had just stood. The audience didn't move. The cameras kept rolling. Whoopi was the first to speak, slowly lowering herself into her seat. "Well," she murmured, barely above a whisper, "I think we need to go to commercial." Joy just nodded, eyes still on the exit. "That was," she faltered, "unlike anything I've ever seen," Sarah finished. "Do you think he was serious?" Sunny asked quietly. "About the recordings?" "I don't know," Whoopi said, visibly shaken. "But I really don't know." As the screen faded to black, her voice returned, tentative, uncertain. "We'll be right back. If you found this moment as shocking as we did, hit that subscribe button and drop your thoughts in the comments. Was Harry bluffing? Or does he really have the evidence that could shatter the royal family? This story isn't over, and we want to know what you think happens next.